A while since I've gone live. So I'm going in this format right now, vertical. First, welcome. This is our first live this Lent. So we're going to be less programmed this Lent for the lives because I have classes in the evenings. And anyways, if you're new to Crux Stationalis, our videos for Lent are going to be published every day at noon. And so that gives you a live tour, not a live tour, that gives you a recorded tour of each of the churches. And then occasionally I come on live here. At the moment, the format suits best for your phone because it put me in this portrait mode instead of landscape. But usually I'll be going live in the landscape mode and you can see Rome as I see it. So we're just walking to San Giorgio, and I want to show you, I wanted to go live today first because this is the first day that the masses are, it's kind of the beginning of the journey. Yesterday, of course, we were at Santa Sabina with the Holy Father, and for that mass, it requires like a ticket because it's a papal event. So for those of us who don't go there because we go to our local parish or something, yesterday I was at the Dominican Rite Mass at my university, and so today we come and this is our start because, as you know, maybe from my posts or from videos, there's an academia, a group of people who are responsible for these evening liturgies. They're the ones. Hi, Mike. I hope the whole team's watching. Are you watching on your computer or on your phone, Mike? Because I want to know how it looks in portrait mode right now. We're walking into the Forum. So I want to show you what's happening in Rome right now. I'll go back to the Accademia once we get across the piazza here. But this is Piazza Venezia, and there's going to be a metro stop here. However, it's going to take years. I was regretting walking through here today, and in fact, by the way, there's so many people in the city. Stresses me out to walk. We're gonna go. Let's just go on an adventure because I don't know the pathways. They change the pathways every day. Watching on my laptop. Um, Watching on your phone. Great. So how does it look on the laptop, Mike? In the portrait mode. Is it weird or does it adjust to your screen? Anyway, so you'll see all these postings and signs as we're going through this piazza because they're putting a new line. They've been working on a new line for like the last decade or more to cut through the city center. So as you can imagine, Rome is just like layer upon. Let's go this way. I haven't been this way with all these blockings and everything. But Rome, there's just like history layer upon history layer. Here is, for example, this is the old Forum, which now they've opened. I don't know the hours, but you can go down and walk among there. This is Trajan's Column. Beautiful watching on my iPhone. It's black space on the sides. Yeah, so I was trying to, usually in the past with this video, I just had to make sure that my phone was in landscape mode when I started the live video. But I was just trying to do that. That's why I was a couple minutes late, and it was telling me I had to go into some advanced settings, which of course not easily accessible on my phone. So I figured we'll just run with it, so I'm not late to the church. I know this isn't very exciting to look at a green wall, but I want to show you what Rome looks like now, and will look like for at least until 2030, but it will probably take longer. But nonetheless, it's still beautiful with these iconic pine, umbrella pines, and of course views. So we just came from up there, where my university is, and we're going to cross behind this ugly building here. I think they call it ugly, but they call it a wedding cake or a typewriter because it's new. It's 100 years old. I don't know how to cross. I should cross at the crosswalk, huh? There's the Colosseum, just to orient you. And we're going to go behind this building, cutting across the Palatine Forum, because we're going to a church which sits right between the Palatine Hill and hold on, the Aventine Hill, basically. And we're going. It's a church which is in the old Greek neighborhood, the Greek quarter of Rome, where, like, during the iconoclastic controversies and everything, Greek monks would come to Rome. Those who were in union with Rome's theology would, not iconoclastic, not destroying images, and understanding the reason why we have images is because Christ became man, and we can now look upon his face. And so that's the whole theology of the incarnation, which is why we have such a importance of art in the church and beauty and symbols. But this is a nice it's a fun walk always. Let me think the fastest way. We'll see. I'm running a bit late. Sorry. I probably have started 10 different thoughts. But we're going to San Giorgio, and we'll see all of the members of the Accademia, and also Cardinal Ravasi always comes and preaches a really long sermon every year about the same thing. Unfortunately, some of you might know I have a friend, and she's the one who introduced the Roman station churches to me. Sorry, I'm out of breath walking uphill. Agnese can't come tonight. She has a work meeting, so the duty falls to me to ensure that I go. San Giorgio, it's a small little church. This wasn't the smartest way to come. It's a small little church, and Thursdays in Rome, like in the 4th, 5th century, there weren't masses on Thursdays. Priests prayed, their other prayers, but the tradition of daily mass isn't something from the original, or from the early centuries of the church. It came a couple centuries later, like the 6th century. And so these Thursday masses are newer. So the prayers were chosen specifically taken from other masses. They don't have their own unique masses like the rest of the days of Lent or the liturgical year. So I should show you things. I'll just talk at you. This is a square which was designed by Michelangelo, his last great work. Michelangelo, of course, is the one who carved the Pietà that we all know in St. Peter's Basilica. And then this is basically the town square of Rome. What was I saying? Thursday. So this mass is newer, but then also that means it's kind of contextual with the epistle and the gospel were chosen in a way to discuss this, the issues that were happening in the church at the time. And of course, these realities of fighting enemies, physical enemies, also relates to fighting spiritual enemies. But I don't really get into all those liturgical questions because there's others who do it better than I do. But we'll get into it eventually on Crux Stationalis. But here we are, we're just going to go down this side of the hill. What was I saying? The Academia. So every year, basically we're coming kind of on the 100th year of Demia soon. They were founded in the 1930s as this group of people who have a particular devotion to welcome from Brazil, a particular devotion to the martyrs. So Rome, this whole experience that we have with the Roman station churches, we go each day to a different tomb of a martyr. Today we're going to that of St. George. And this academia are the ones who, by the devotion of priests, like archaeological studies, and of course just devotion in Rome, there was a huge uptick after the Lateran Treaty at the end of 1927, and so this gave kind of more power back to the Vatican, because there was this discussion between the Italians, the Italian state as it was developing, and the Vatican, and the temporal power of the Vatican and the lands and everything. And anyways, that prohibited for a long time the sort of free exercise of religion in Rome. And because of that, what was already in decline, this devotion of these Roman station churches, which goes back to the 5th century, because of that decline, this tradition was basically lost of the Roman station churches. And then it's been in the last 100 years, but even more so the last 60 years, that the devotion has grown, maintained by this academia, this group of lay people and some priests who ensure that we maintain this cult of the martyrs in Rome. So basically we just cut through up there and coming back down, and the church sits in this neighborhood. What else can I say about St. George? Obviously, there's a video you can watch, 4K resolution, and you can see a tour of St. George, the church. It's one of the churches which has been returned to its more ancient aesthetic. This is not the right way to take with all these cars streaming by, but it returned to this ancient aesthetic. It took away, the accretions that came over the centuries. But then we also lost what's called a Schola Cantorum. If you saw the video yesterday of Santa Sabina, in some of the churches in Rome, you have this choir in the middle of the church where the monastics would sit. And sometimes we'll see it as Lent goes on, different ambos, as we'd call them, of different heights and different directions. And those would be where the gradual and the tract, or the other verse, which we cannot say during Lent, would be sung. Then you have where the epistle would be sung, and then you have where the gospel would be sung. And basically it stands in the middle of the church between who would be in the other parts of the church and the sanctuary. And that's where it's called the Schola Cantorum. So this is the Palatine Hill, where the Palatine Palace. Basically, this is like imperial, palatial land, and we're just heading up to that blue building and turning right. What else can I say about St. George? I'm so happy to be back. This Lent's going to be a bit different because I have a pilgrim tour halfway through. I'm taking There's 58 high school students who are coming to Rome, and I'm the manager of that tour. So those days I won't be able to go live, and if I am, it'll just be about 5 minutes or so. And nonetheless, there's still going to be a daily video tour of each of the churches, and I started something new. I'm doing a little 1.5 minute video giving you a meditation on Lent from St. Thomas Aquinas. It did well yesterday. I'm happy, and I published the other one today as well. So it's just giving you, and it gives just, and it will go into other spiritual aspects of Lent as we go along. So Rome is also completely prepping for the Jubilee of 2025. If you know, every 25 years, the church has Jubilee year, this great year of indulgences, and we're coming upon that. So Rome, you see right now a lot of whatever these are called, scaffolding, and as we see, like in Piazza Venezia, also by St. Peter's, there's all these works going on which are limiting passageways, and it makes it difficult. There we go, people are already gathered. This is the Arch of Most, and the church sits right here. Usually with these live videos, I'm not able to go inside the church with you because of the cell connection. But here you can see, if you've seen, obviously you've seen St. Peter's, you've seen other Baroque churches in Rome. This facade and the portico here does not have, Baroque. That the exterior of a building would be glorious and and the mosaics and the frescoes and all these things, which a massive aspect of the architecture is also light, and so you have the addition of windows in the upper story, the clerestory it's called. You have these windows there and there in this basilica. Let's see where I need to see during Lent, and it's meant to symbolize, of course, Christ being the light, and all those shining, brilliant things being virtue. And so the emphasis from Roman pagan Rome of this kind of exterior image is transformed even in the the way we build our buildings, the way we decorate our buildings. Our emphasis is about the interior, the virtue, the dignity of each person. And we're going to come across a very beautiful mosaic in a couple of weeks at Santa Pudenziana, and it's the oldest mosaic in Western art, the oldest apse mosaic in Western art. This is the chaplain of the Accademia, the oldest mosaic in Western art, and I'll explain it then. But it's another change between pagan Rome and Christian Rome is before the legalization of Christianity, the mentality of the dignity of persons was different. We thought of Roman citizens having, citizens of Rome and the Roman Empire having greater rights than other people. However, the beauty of Christian faith, the beauty of the dignity of being a Christian is that we're all children of God. And so we see these fundamental realities, theological principles in the structures, in our art, in the change. As Rome was crumbling, the city of Rome was crumbling at the beginning of the 5th century, so 410, and that's the same time that Christianity was rising, and so no longer were we citizens of Rome, the kind of a glorious city. Instead, we were citizens of the heavenly city by right of our baptism. So, anyways, I'm going to prep for Mass. It's in 5 minutes, and I hope you check out the YouTube video of the Church of San Giorgio, and you'll learn more about the interior, about the fresco, about the relics of St. George are right there, and I tell you about everything. The weird shape, you can see it's not square, it's a trapezoid. Anyways, a blessed continuation as we go these first days into Lent, and I will see you soon.